Welcome to this management accounting case study. With rising living costs, businesses are under pressure to reduce prices and attract customers. But can lower prices actually improve profitability? Let's find out. Today we will analyze a pricing decision faced by Omega Ltd. We will examine the financial information, calculate the contribution and profit, and determine whether the company should reduce its selling price. Let's begin. Omega Ltd. is losing customers, and management is looking for ways to improve sales. The sales director believes that reducing the selling price by £5 per unit will attract more customers. However, the finance director is concerned that a lower selling price may reduce profits. As management accountants, our job is to analyze the numbers and recommend the best course of action. Before we begin the calculations, let's briefly understand the different types of costs shown in the case study. Direct materials represent the raw materials used to manufacture the product. Direct labor refers to the wages of employees directly involved in production. Variable overheads change as production or sales increase. Fixed costs remain constant regardless of the number of units produced. Understanding these costs is important because they help us calculate contribution and profit. Here we can see Omega Ltd.'s current financial information. The selling price is £75 per unit. The total variable costs consist of direct materials, direct labor, variable production overheads, and variable selling overheads. The company currently sells 9,500 units and incurs total fixed costs of £120,000. We will use this information as the basis for our analysis. Management is considering reducing the selling price from £75 to £70 per unit. As a result of the lower price, sales are expected to increase from 9,500 units to 13,000 units. However, the proposal will also increase fixed costs by £15,000. The key question is whether the additional sales will be enough to increase profit. The first step is to calculate the contribution per unit. To do this, we need to calculate the total variable cost per unit. Direct materials are £16, direct labor is £13. Variable production overheads are £9. Variable selling overheads are £7. Adding these costs together gives a total variable cost of £45 per unit. Contribution is calculated by subtracting variable costs from the selling price. £75 minus £45 gives a contribution of £30 per unit. Now that we know the contribution per unit, we can calculate the total contribution generated by current sales. We multiply the contribution per unit by the number of units sold. £30 multiplied by 9,500 units gives a total contribution of £285,000. After deducting fixed costs of £120,000, the current profit is £165,000. Next, let's calculate the expected profit after the price reduction. The new selling price is £70 per unit. Variable costs remain unchanged at £45 per unit. Therefore, the new contribution per unit is £25. With expected sales of 13,000 units, total contribution increases to £325,000. Fixed costs increase to £135,000. After deducting these fixed costs, the expected profit is £190,000. Based on our analysis, Omega Ltd. should accept the proposed price reduction. Although the contribution per unit falls from £30 to £25, the increase in sales volume more than compensates for this reduction. Profit is expected to increase from £165,000 to £190,000. This represents an increase in profit of £25,000. Today we've seen that a lower selling price does not always mean lower profits. Although the contribution per unit decreased from £30 to £25, the reduction in price encouraged higher sales volume, increasing from 9,500 units to 13,000 units. As a result, total profit improved significantly. Omega Limited's profit increased from £165,000 to £190,000. Therefore, based on our analysis, accepting the price reduction would be the most profitable decision for the business. I hope you found this lesson helpful. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more accounting lessons explained step by step, please consider subscribing to my channel. Let's learn accounting together.